Welcome back to Exarch Nightmares, everybody. I will give an inspiration point to whoever recounts the last session in detail for the people who didn't make it to the end, because I don't want to do that.
I
Wait
got
till
it.
silence.
But we were all here, so like, what point do we start?
No, just like a quick
No.
recap, like how I
Of the
did, like
whole
how
thing?
I. Yes.
Alright, so once upon a time,
quick
there was a
summary.
couple peoples running down in this cave. There was this really spooky dooky hole in the wall covered by some boards, and we got into it. And then we were going down this like long hallway and stuff. And then we got to this like lake room that
You're
had mermaids in the
literally
lake. And then we were like playing around with the mermaids for a little bit, but then one of the party members, not gonna name who, got a little too close to the mermaids and some bad stuff happened and they got pulled in. Well, they eventually got out, but
You?
we decided to go buck wild on these mermaids anyways because like, we're holding it down for the whole crew. So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
there was a lot not said, but
I assume you all just promptly set up camp and rest through the day.
God,
Sure.
what a fucking waste of a day.
I'm boarding up that fucking exit.
I
tomorrow,
figured.
too. Thing's bad omen.
But it does mean that by the party is all well, but that by the time the party is all well rested and stuff, it's probably 5 in the afternoon.
Dude,
Those of you that failed a con save and aren't Iran have 1 point of exhaustion. The rest of you, since you all went to sleep, do not have exhaustion anymore.
So, Carrion was the one that wanted a winter cloak. He was able to grab that. Also, daggers was able to get her that as well.
Hell yeah. Well, then I'm spending my morning modifying this cloak so I can actually wear it.
Giving the medicine kit to probably Teo.
woo!
I already gave you the traveling cloak.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep the last item for myself right now.
Fair.
How many daggers?
2.
Thank you.
Do any of you have any idea where I should go next?
Presumably, since they do not want our presence in town, we should continue on to the wizard.
I suppose that makes sense.
You are like that good.
Say that one more time, Kai.
Huh? Sorry, I was talking to my cat. I didn't realize I was not muted.
I will look
You
at the
almost-
map.
That's
Alright.
the item you kept to yourself?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
It is about a 3-day journey from Mulemold to Altham's Tower, which is actually marked, which implies that it does see enough thoroughfare that it deserves to be marked, at least on a map built for locals.
Well, in any case, I for one did not enjoy this experience at all.
No, it was rather unpleasant. I think
Now, if I had my choice, I would certainly just throw the person who led us here.
it is technically, one could consider it a attempted murder of 6 persons, so it's not outside of your rights.
Outside of them or not, I think I probably... No, it's too much of a hassle.
We can always come back for justice at a later point. If you still consider it worth it.
Why not now?
It would require finding the same specific guard, getting him to meet with us, so on and so forth.
We're not really pressed for time.
But we have no reason to stay here. We are pressed for time as far as supplies go.
Well, we can just head straight to the tower. I would prefer that instead.
I agree.
In addition to that, I've already been in the town. It's a dump.
What a surprise.
Drab, boring, pretty worthless people living their lives.
Sounds like everywhere else we've seen so far.
The world's just full of promise, isn't it?
Right, either way. Let's get out of this disgusting little hole.
You. Oh,
Sleep in that whole
You wait.
conversation.
you wake Q up.
I'm watching you.
You wake Q up and start on your way. 1 second. So you guys are essentially right here right now, where my little arrow is. This is where Mumold is.
Okay.
And the path that winds through Mumold goes along this mountain range, and Altam's tower is here.
Wait a second. So, did we come from right here then?
No, no. Mumold is here. You don't know where on the map the battlefield that you woke up on is.
Question.
No, I mean, is this the cave we went through?
No. No, that is a pass through the mountains into Kleinen, and it makes up the southern road. That's the only way you really have to get to Kleinen, unless you want to go around this mountain.
I have proficiency in cartographer's tools, which lets me do cool stuff with maps, but I'm also proficient in languages illiteracy, so I can't actually read the
You
names of
don't
anything.
you don't know what languages you know.
Okay.
When you look at this map, you are able to understand the names of
Okay.
you are able to understand the words on this map, which would at least let you know that you can read common trade. It is an uneventful 3 days. And as you travel path on the third day, you see it for a couple hours before you actually get to it. You know, nature of it being a tower and all. But as you finally reach the winding path that leads to the tower proper, the structure before you is honestly less a tower and more just a bold declaration towards the owner's absolute distaste towards gravity. The walls curve upwards in this bizarre slope that almost seem to have been pulled straight from the ground, and there are very few windows except for at a height that seems not worth it to climb. There's a strange metal and wire sculpture on the top of the tower that is slowly spinning in the wind. It's a pretty unique looking building, actually.
Seemed like they'd be the modest type.
It is certainly a statement.
That's scary.
Yes, it is a little bit scary. Yvette, you can go first.
No.
Is it actually in like a river or a body of water, or?
It is actually. It really, if it were more true to the map, then the mountain range would be on this side.
Gotcha.
The mountain range should be on this side instead of this side, but it's as close as I can
So-
get it.
I do have a question. We did rest and level up already now, right?
You did.
Okay, just making sure.
I actually go first.
Okay, thank you.
Aran
Aran
doesn't.
immediately starts in on the path.
Say Aran doesn't call me anything special, so I just follow him.
Aran, When you reach the door, it's probably twice as tall as you are. What do you do?
I inspect the door.
It is a door. It's it looks like it's made out of the same stone that the walls are made out of, actually, and it's not really. There are no intricate decorations or anything. It just looks like a door.
I try to lock
There's
the door, but it's stone, so it's not going to work. So I push the door.
All right. You knock on the door, wait a few seconds, and then push it open.
Yep. And I
The
scream inside.
inside.
Hi.
Q instinctively follows up with a yoo-hoo.
All right.
Sorry, I forgot about the yoo-hoo. I yoo-hoo inside.
Well, I'm glad everyone knows we're here now.
All right.
Not
You
everyone.
Spectacular.
I haven't stepped through the threshold yet.
Exactly, and I will choose not to until
If they
some point.
die, then we'll know not to step through it.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
are on cue from your perspective. You can see inside as the entry hall. The first floor itself seems to mostly be one big entry hall slash easily defensible area. It looks like a sitting room more than anything else. Just kind of a place to entertain guests. And there's a spiral staircase leading up the side to a singular door up, and then there's a singular door at the base of the spiral staircase that is presumably leading down. But that's all you could see on the first floor. There's nobody in here for now.
I sit.
You sit?
I say, yeah, you said
Yeah.
there's furniture and stuff.
Mhm.
Is it just chairs?
Yeah, it's a sitting room. There's a
It's a
couple
sitting room.
couches, a couple chairs. It looks like there's a very finely stocked liquor cabinet actually, and what looks like a little setup for brewing tea.
Is there any food like actively set out?
It doesn't look like there's any food actively set out, although there are like packets for the tea
Is there an upstairs?
on the table. Yes, there's a door upstairs, and there's also a door that may lead to a basement.
Up or down? That's the real question. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go up.
Oh, you're gonna try and go upstairs?
Yeah.
Right. Q sits down on the furniture. Yvette starts to make her way upstairs. The rest of you,
Watching safely from the doorway, probably.
everybody else is waiting safely from the doorway. What about
I'm sitting
Iran?
on the chairs.
Alright,
I
Iran
said
is
that I was going to sit because it was a sitting room.
I'll probably
So-
see what happens, and then if nothing terrible happens,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll enter.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'll follow if Amberlosa and Carrion go in, since I'm assuming we're still stuck on single file hell.
I love how Theo and Amberlosa never want to take
you
a risk.
you can all kind of cluster near the doorway. Like there's enough of like a
Mm-hmm.
space for people to stand.
What'd you say, Jesus?
But I love that Theo and Amberlosa never tried always to avoid any risk.
Yes.
It's
If
not
I-
that I will avoid risk.
You simply decide not to take them.
Yvette, you climb the spiral staircase that goes along the entire outer wall of the first floor. And as you get to the door, you try and turn the knob. It is locked. You jiggle a little bit and then it turns.
Oh, that's not terrifying.
And you pull your hand to open the door, and standing in front of you is a woman.
Oh. Hello.
About probably 5'6", 5'7", black hair with a little bit of a wave to it. Probably like day-old makeup that's been kind of half smeared down one eye, but the other eye is looking great. And just kind of it looks like it is a really, really ornate, almost like a flame-patterned robe in a bright, rich orange color, but it's not actually put on properly. It's just kind of thrown over her shoulders and crossed over her front. She looks at you.
Hello?
Are you intruders or just idiots?
Idiots. Definitely idiots. At least 3 of us are. I am one of the idiots, so please don't be angry at me, please.
How far away is Yvette?
They are on the top of the staircase.
Yeah, how far up is that?
Probably about a 10-foot drop. Not too far.
So enough for me to hear.
Yes.
Okay.
There's also no wall between the two of you. Everybody can side.
At the whole intruder idiots comment, I am then going to just take the one door for the entrance and just knock on it.
Jesus.
Knowing full well how condescending it makes her look.
There's some of my other friends right now.
She shuts the door in your face.
Good
One
talk.
moment. About 30 seconds later, she opens the door looking significantly less disheveled. She's clearly precipitated all of the old makeup off and actually put on her robe.
As you do.
Hey, you look nice.
And she just strides straight past Yvette down the stairs. The door shuts behind her, though, so you have no path upstairs.
Guess I'll follow her. So how long have you been living out here?
Do you really think you're in a position to be asking me questions right now?
Oh boy.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit of small talk.
Mm-hmm. Sit down. All
Yes,
of you.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Anna, Q, Volpros, whatever is already sitting, but I have been going around trying to like stack stuff on whatever coffee table or like thing is here. Like plates, teacups, just to keep themselves busy.
All right.
Oh god, it's like waiting at a clinic with a child.
I
She's a
am
tiger mom.
I am sitting in
At
the
some
most
point,
rigid, proper posture possible.
at some point, I'm pretty sure that I'm just thinking so hard to cue, like, stop. That she actually that she actually listens. That
Yo, is that a thing Aron can do?
yes. Yes.
Oh,
Wait, what?
I'm gonna stop and just look around and be really confused.
I'll
have
sit, but I
telepathy.
definitely won't be.
He rediscovers his telepathy through sheer annoyance. Okay, I'll accept that. I like
How-
that.
Stop.
How appropriately Elven. Amberlos will sit, but unlike Teo being super fucking rigid, she'll be a little bit more lax as to how she just sits.
Yeah, that's gonna be
I
sitting
opt
on
to
the
stand.
definition of timeout.
And now that you're all calmed down, she's staring at Q while saying this.
I'm trying to get an angle on her ears.
They're rounded.
Okay.
Can I have your names, please? Yes, you already introduced yourself, Yvette.
That one, I have no clue who the name are. But Jean Morgan.
She looks at the rest of you.
I'm Aaron
Well, I'm
Ward,
not speaking for all of you.
according to my notes.
Around one.
Yes. Aaron Warren, but you can call me Aaron. Everybody does that.
Teo Castellano.
Yet I'm stupid for giving out my full name one time.
That's not, though.
Oh. Well,
Her eyes turn to look at Q and, Carrion.
Carrion.
Well,
And you, darling?
normally I would ask, but when we were in town, I realized that I really shouldn't ask people if they know who I am because I don't know who most other people are, so it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense that they would know who I am. So I'm not gonna ask if you know who I am.
That's cute. She's learning.
Well,
Impressive.
at least she's capable.
And why are you in my sitting room?
because you told us to sit down in here.
Okay, so aside from the smart ass answer, we were given directions that this is a potential place where we could seek help of some kind.
We met your bird friend.
My bird friend?
Yeah, your bird friend, and I make a motion like I'm putting a mask on. Told
Okay,
us
so
that
you met a gravedigger somewhere who sent you to me, okay.
You do realize he wasn't an actual bird, right?
he had two faces, though. He had two faces. That's the only person we've met so far that has two faces.
And
He told
Velosa
me
just like lowers her head slightly and pinches her nose.
he told me all about the juice and the plague and the strains, and he said that if I learned really hard and did plague research, I could get a bird mask.
So you
So,
realize it is a mask and not a second face.
but it makes you a bird. I'm gonna
That
start
makes
Those magic bird masks.
I'm gonna start explaining everything, whatever Pietro has talked about to Q about the juice theory, about the different strains of plague. I'm gonna start explaining that all back to Vanessa, which I imagine is something like a second grader trying to teach algebra to Jesus.
Out of curiosity, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. If you cast if is someone under the hold person spell able to still speak? Just out of curiosity.
No, because it's a paralysis.
No, because it's a paralysis.
Oh jeez,
I'm
those
sorry.
go.
I'm sorry, Q.
Motherfucker, you talked faster than I could.
I'm sorry, Q.
Q, could you please make me a wisdom? Okay.
They're matching each other again.
You could just go ahead and you could just go ahead and keep making saves as they continue talking then.
Okay.
Like every 6 seconds.
I'll throw them in
We've got-
periodically.
Mhm.
We've maybe got a maximum of a minute.
Okay, so why not that I'm not happy to talk about the plague, but this is kind of elementary stuff and
Yes, and Pietro sent us this way because he thought you might provide some answers as to why we woke up on a battlefield full of corpses with no memory of the last. What we do the math on? 2 years? 1 year?
I'd say a couple of years.
Around that.
hmm. So you just woke up on the battlefield of the lost soldiers.
That is correct.
Thank God.
I know, I'm like super nervous.
It's gonna be like a playback tape. So the moment like it stops, it'll just start up again, like right from where it
Oh
left off.
god.
And do you all have this weird lack of memory that your very chatty friend seems to have, or
I know, I'm very aware of where I was a couple years ago, before that, and before that.
Yeah.
Some of us don't.
Memory trouble, yes. To her level of not seeming to know anything, not so much.
if you'll hold here for a minute, I'll be right back.
She's gonna kill us all.
And she's just going to scurry up her stairwell and slam the door.
I
Get
also
ready,
said
folks.
that like out loud.
Get ready, folks. Here it comes, a level 6 fireball.
Wait,
You know-
Yuki's here?
I'm still paralyzed.
No, Yuffie is not here.
My friendly fire senses always tingle whenever Yuki's.
That's reasonable.
It's less likely to happen now, though.
I'm sorry, acceptable casualties?
Hmm.
Okay, you know what? We'll let's ignore the semantic details for a moment.
That's between me and Joe.
You're left in this sitting room in however your group plans to deal with that for about probably 10 minutes. So do you
Oh,
want to
God.
just fast forward through those 10 minutes, or do you actually have any conversations that you want to have before she comes back?
That depends.
Nope.
Amberlos is completely content on just waiting.
I'm gonna
But-
look at Amberlosa and ask her why we're here and what we're doing. Because I'm mega lost.
We came here because this person, she might have answers that we do not possess.
Ah, knowledge. Forbidden knowledge.
I wouldn't call it forbidden knowledge as much as forgotten knowledge. Forbidden and forgotten are two very different things.
Yvette looks away into the distance. Knowledge that we weren't meant to have.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think
sure
she came
you
back
know
with her entire brain.
tons about that.
Nope. Not at all. I know my name's Yvette, and sometimes I light on fire. And now you know that.
You would be
Pronunciation
wonderful
of
in
your
a town.
names.
Yeah, you would be wonderful in a town filled with superstitious people.
You think they'd like me? Is it because of the headpiece?
Oh yes, I'm sure.
Nice.
Absolutely. Nothing. I think they would take a shining to you.
You should take me to the city sometime. I've never been. Well, not that I'd remember.
Hmm. You look like you're a wood elf. Good luck.
Thank you.
Paco, I think the
God
minute's up.
damn Q.
I think the minute is up, unfortunately.
And that's what yellow juice does. And hey, where'd she go?
You are absolutely astounding.
The 10 minutes finally ends, and this wizard who still hasn't introduced herself, even though most of you know she's Vanessa Altham just by the fact that you're in her tower.
Yes.
She's the what?
Her name, Vanessa Altham.
Ah.
But she actually scurries back in, carrying a bag and a wand? Question mark. It looks like a wand. But she comes back down and, okay, so you say you woke up on the battlefield with different levels of memory loss.
Correct.
How many days ago?
It is the
It would be
34th.
3.
It's the
plus-
34th, and we woke up on the fucking 28th,
So from
27th.
Yeah, it's been a week.
Yeah.
3 days to town, 1 day sleeping, and then 3 days here.
A
Okay.
week.
So you've been awake for a week?
Seems to be that way.
We've been alive for 1 week.
Not how it works.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's how that works either. Well,
Well,
Well, you're
That
right. We
makes
do
you wonder.
technically die every night.
That's exactly how that works. Yes.
yes, that's how that works. Absolutely.
We really need to go over very rudimentary knowledge with you, don't we?
I
Well,
have
good
a
luck with that, Teo.
proposition for you. I don't necessarily have the answers off the top of my head as to why you came back. I offer you 2 things, and you may take either one of them or leave both of them. I won't judge. I may be a bit upset, but I won't judge. The first thing is you have literally only been alive for a week. I
was right.
suggest you've only had your memories for a week.
Damn it.
Obviously, you've been alive for longer than that, unless there is magic much stranger than just reanimation going on.
Right.
But as it stands, you've only been up and moving again for a week. And you're tired, you don't have your memories, you're lost for most of you. I suggest you take a couple days to rest and recuperate in my tower while you allow me to run a few non-invasive tests on you to see potentially what brought you back. That's the
Her-
first thing.
Okay.
The second thing is potentially the answers to your question. Like I said, I don't have the answers myself, and I don't know how much how much these tests that you will hopefully let me perform will reveal. But I do have a lead that I am following for the plague and the death of the forest that I believe could be connected to your mysterious resurrection. And I would appreciate your help with following this lead. You'd be compensated in addition to obviously learning more answers about your mysterious problem. Or
we'll
you could
do
just
it.
think of it as a simple mercenary job. I just need you to travel to Crow's Landing and back, retrieve a rare magical item. You don't even have to fight anything. You just have to pick it up from a friend of mine.
And is there a time limit on that one?
The sooner I find it, the sooner I can continue my studies of the plague, and the sooner we'll all have answers.
So the possibility of both options is there or no?
Like I said, you can take either or neither.
So we can pick one but not both.
You can pick both.
Oh, okay. Inclusive or.
Yes.
Ah.
Obviously, you're going to be staying in one of my floors that I can lock overnight because I don't trust you to travel through my tower overnight, but
So you're locking us up?
I'm preventing you from stealing and leaving in the night.
Seems like a reasonable precaution.
But dangerous.
So is it a deal then?
Yeah.
I agree.
I think it benefits us as a whole. Both, uh, both parties, of course.
She mentioned non-invasive tests.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything in her tone, like, to imply these are non-invasive but painful?
Insight?
That's fair. I kind of also want to throw an insight check in there, now that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it. That sounds like a wise plan.
Let me check our modifier real quick.
Oh no. The two undesirables are not ready for this shit. We're
Oh,
on
I'm
to
ready.
it. We're on to her shit.
She doesn't appear to be deceitful as far as any of you can tell.
Hmm.
If we stay
not a-
here, will you teach me more about the plague?
For as long as you stay. And for as long as you're, well, for as much as you're able to understand. I confess I haven't taught in many years.
Okay.
Well then. You all have,
Oh.
time to relax. I don't have any tests that will be ready today. If I do, then I'll come and find one of you. The third floor is yours. Like I said, it will be booked overnight. Not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you. And please do not go into the basement. If you need me, I'll be in my study.
Understood.
That's on the fourth floor, by the way. And she's going to stroll on up her staircase again.
Q is following her.
Q's,
Q is a
Q's
puppy.
ready to.
I wonder if locks will be enough.
Alright, so Q is going to go up to the study and.
Oh, I'm picking right off where I left off about the juice thing, but I'm gonna tie into the fact that Pietro only told me about 4 juices, right? Red, brown, white, and yellow.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna take out the wolf's heart. This had black juice in it, and then I remember those mermaids had purple juice. So clearly this description is incomplete.
It's like medieval doctors arguing over fucking humors.
I mean, it is based on humor theory, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That begins a very lengthy lecture about how the blight affects colors and how different races have different colors and all that sort of stuff. It's a lot of information. I'm just
I am
gonna
listening to all of it.
go ahead and make me just a cursory intelligence check to see how much of it you retain. You retain a good bit of it. You retain all the broad concepts. some of the finer details will probably need to be gone over more, but you learn a lot about other races, reactions to the blight and all that sort of stuff. Which Pietro's description of the blight as Dr. Altham continues to talk, you learn that Pietro's description was very upper race centric. A lot of the lower races have some different surface level symptoms to the blight, plague, whatever. Plague blight. But ultimately, it's lethal for everything. Everybody.
Towards the end of this conversation, as she's mentioning Pietro's description of the plague to us, I'm going to remember that Pietro mentioned there are the 3 strands, all of which had a catalyzing event where,
Mhm.
after the subject died, they returned to life. And I'm going to say the exact same thing, after 3 days or whatever. I'm going to say the exact same thing that I said to him, which I'm pretty sure everybody just told me not to say anyone else, but that our catalyzing event took a year.
um, She doesn't seem particularly pleased by the implication that you are infected. To put it lightly.
There is absolutely no processing of this connection in my mind at all. This is just an interesting factoid as far as Q is concerned.
We're
poor-
all dead.
The poor thing just undeath does not. The poor thing has no concept of undeath, so yeah, it's totally a chill thing where you just walk. Again, it's fine.
Keep in mind, she legitimately thinks she dies and then comes back every day.
Teo didn't know that that was your actual belief until today, and
Every time
I am-
that was what we said. I've died again. Every time I've fallen asleep.
see, Teo just thought it was poor taste humor.
No.
It was not until this moment when you told a complete stranger this that he was just like,
Oh my god. Yeah.
Alright, so what are the rest of you doing in this tower with no supervision?
observing the shelves.
Minding my own
the
fucking business.
I'm like just,
reading whatever I find
I'm just like browsing the shelves and the
or try it.
whatever else is just decoration shelves, whatever's in this floor.
No, so you're not leaving the sitting room?
I'm observing and then I'm going to the 3rd floor after I've seen everything I want to.
Alright.
Like if anything catches my interest, I'll look more closely. But
Probably down here is boring. I'd probably just go right up to the 3rd floor.
Alright. The 3rd floor does appear to be... It is actually separated into different rooms. There's 4 rooms and they all appear to be guest rooms in here. Like, the 3rd floor appears to be exclusively guest rooms.
Huh.
Well, I say they're all guest rooms. One of the rooms is significantly more lavish than the others and may not have actually been intended to be a guest room, but it also doesn't look like it's been used in forever, so...
I have a feeling I
2
know
of the
which
rooms,
room
actually,
Amber
I'm
Lose
sorry.
is gonna take.
2 of the rooms, actually, I'm sorry. 2 of the rooms are fancy, the other 2 are, like, plain-looking guest rooms.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want the second one. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
there,
okay,
there,
I'll take a plain one.
there are 6 of you in 4 rooms, so...
Oh.
Well, someone's
Sweet.
sleeping in the lobby, I
Hey.
guess.
Sweet, sweet release of not being in their presence.
Undesirable roomies?
I'll allow it. If only because Carrion hasn't annoyed Teo in any way, shape, or form so far.
Excellent. The feeling is mutual.
Carrion and Teo get along on the sheer mutual neutrality of their of their interaction.
It's like picking partners for a school project and both of you don't know each other well enough.
Oh my god.
That's exactly what's going on.
It's like picking school partners and only picking that person because they are also left.
Yep. Yep.
All right, so Q is going to spend the day learning from Dr. Altham, who grows progressively more and more strained as the day goes on.
Gee, I wonder the fuck why.
I don't get it.
Are there books anywhere? Is there like a library?
Are you going to actually explore the other floors?
Yeah.
All right, it is actually the second floor, so you actually have to pass through it. That room appears to be where it appears to be your study / library. It's not as many books as you probably would have expected from a wizard,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still a decent collection.
I also want to join Carrion.
Honestly, I don't know what to expect from a wizard though.
That's fair.
As far as I know, this is the only one I've ever met.
I'm
That's
gonna
fair.
join Carrion in the library. Not like together, but like it just makes the most sense to go there. This
Again,
isn't a-
you're not actually friends.
This means nothing,
They're not-
Carrion.
You're both such cats.
None fucking
It's just-
taken.
It's just because I don't hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, cats is a good description. Like two cats that are just like getting to know each other too. Is like they'll respect each other's distance. They'll eat around
They-
the same area, but conversing, no.
No.
They tolerate each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's
We're-
pretty much it.
We're the two kids at the one cafeteria table, just like that no one else wants to sit at.
Sitting on either ends of the cafeteria table.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're just like peacefully enjoying our lunch, occasionally like making like a gesture of acknowledgement at the other, but no more.
Yep.
But anyway, can I specifically look like I mean, I'll go to general books afterwards, but I'm specifically trying to find books that I recognize the language but I know it's not common.
So you're specifically trying to figure out how many languages you know.
That was my plan as well.
I was actually like looking into like trying to figure out if I could learn anything about my past by finding books that were in what I consider my mother tongue based on my memory, but also, yeah, finding languages I speak.
Your mother tongue. Okay, so Okay.
So I'm looking for both languages I speak as well as books that are in what I would consider my mother tongue in order to learn something about either the culture or the history or something.
Okay. And you said Carrion was also trying to figure out the same thing?
Yeah.
Both of you make me investigation checks. And are you piggybacking off of each other? Are you kind of looking in on what the other people are reading?
I don't see
What the
why
other
not.
Okay, then you can both roll with advantage. Because you're essentially helping each other.
They
Oh,
they
God.
won't admit it.
They won't admit it, but
Good lord.
okay. So Carrion,
Mm-hmm.
you look through these books and there are 4 languages that stick out to you actually.
Ooh. Okay.
The first one is common.
Yes.
The second one is infertile.
Uh-huh.
The other 2, one of them is a strange language that you pick up because you recognize, and it actually takes Yuffie identifying it for you as celestial.
I'm sorry, who?
Or Teo.
Who's-
Fuck.
That's like the third time this has happened.
It is
Oh,
the
so-
third time this has happened, so it's gonna start becoming a thing that I have to mark down.
Hello, I'm new to your party. What's your name?
Sorry,
Carry on.
Teo was able to identify a celestial for you. And then the last one you find, you pop open the book, you look over it, and as Teo looks over your shoulder, Teo, you also recognize this script. This is it takes a good 3 or 4 books in this script, which actually appear to be the only 4 books she has in this entire library in this script. But you do actually find that it is the official language of the Emporier, which is an empire that owns like half the world.
Um, what is the language called?
Imperial. It's pretty basic.
Imperial.
Is there an analog that gives us a?
Die, Imperial scum! You're no true
Uh,
sons
there's-
of Skyrim.
Is
Technically, the common tongue is trade, and it's not necessarily what most people actually speak. It's pretty much exclusively a trade language, but it's the best one that all of you have found so far to communicate in, because nobody's really spoken GleiBellen around here, so nobody knows if they speak GleiBellen around here.
Mhm.
Yuffie and fuck! Teo and
4
Carrion.
times.
Damn.
This is gonna be like the Wind vs. Moon thing all over again.
So we're keeping a score of the Yuffie versus Teo mix-ups, right?
Yep. I have it down
I
now.
don't know why it's literally only Blake.
Mm.
I don't know. But I mean, the Wind vs. Moon mess ups before that campaign met its unfortunate end was at 47.
Yeah.
But that's 4 languages that Carrion was able to recognize, and Yuffie, you were...
Heyo!
Fuck! Teo!
Jesus Christ.
Now
It's because-
3 times in a single
It's
3-minute
because
span.
Now
Now it's going to
I'm
happen the entire
thinking-
night.
It's because now I'm thinking of Yuffie so much because I kept messing up the name.
Do we just
Now he's on my mind.
do we just want to transplant characters? Do just a real quick swap them, drop in, drop out?
Swap-a-roo. Yeah, we
Oh,
could use we
Teo.
could use another Fiendla.
Teo, I'm so sorry. My poor child.
It's okay. He's an undesirable. They get forgotten a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
You managed to find common, the same for you. You also managed to find Celestial and Infernal and Imperial. So you share most of the same languages, but Teo was managed to find one additional language that he understood. Elven.
No
Did
one would know.
Teo find any books in his mother tongue though?
That appears to be Imperial.
Oh, it is.
My
Mhm.
mother tongue. Oh, Imperial is French.
Damn.
Amazing.
It's
Look, just don't do that.
honestly probably closer to like Old French,
Good.
like really old French, but
What you're
French
saying
would be
is
most accurate.
Latinate in
Mhm.
origin. Just everything is Latin.
It's like it's French like right after you start calling it French and not Latin.
Okay. Fair enough. I can't speak that personally, so I will continue to use modern day French.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I also can't speak, so this is gonna be a
Wait, where are we invading now?
nowhere.
La France.
Again?
Oui. Toujours. C'est nécessaire.
What are the rest of you doing? You're not hiding in the library. Amberless is hiding in her fancy room.
The door can be shut, yes?
The door can be shut.
Okay. Because I know someone's a little angry having just kind of done a ding dong ditch for the past couple years. Jiraza, I'm going to shut the door. And I'm going to do exactly what we both don't want to do, but are going to have to.
I don't wanna.
You don't have to, I just need you to keep watch.
But all right.
It shouldn't be too long.
Don't die.
Well, I hope not.
I get your stuff if you do, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Steal stuff from the rest too.
She curls up on your pillow.
Alright, but yeah, I'm going to steal myself and kind of let my mind flow open and see if he takes the invite.
All right. I will say in this setting, it is a little bit more. You are probably going to have to give at least a little bit of a blood sacrifice to get anybody's attention, even your own patrons.
I have
A,
a
su-
knife.
a s- a half of a summoning circle or a modified summoning circle certainly wouldn't hurt,
Mm,
but that also is harder to clean up. So,
I'm just gonna go with the blood
all right.
and just hope it works. And I'm going to. No one would have seen this knife, so I think. Alright.
Go ahead and make me an Arcana check then.
Hey guys, this is a really stupid fucking idea, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yay.
All right. Would you prefer to have this conversation in the open or in the private channel, Joe?
Dealer's choice.
All right.
Imperial kids.
Yeah. We are like, just based on this, our entire like dynamic as a duo can be described as we are the two kids partnered together for a school project, just researching on our
I
own.
know. Oh God.
Like the other groups were all made, and then it was two kids left, and they were just like, "Well, it's
Oh,
usually a group
okay. It's the
project,
two
but
loners getting pushed together.
yeah, it's a group project, but there's only two of you left, and all the other groups are full. You can manage it just fine. It's partner project. We'll give you extra credit.
You're both smart.
Yeah. Empire kids, Empire kids, Empire.
I only know two languages.
What?
I'm
I only know two languages.
out
I
of character. I am confused. I know infernal, but not abyssal, and I'm an abyssal tiefling. What?
listen.
Dun, dun, dun.
Who knows? I'm confused why I know infernal.
I'm confused why I know celestial.
I'm really starting to think our theory about we knowing each other before this all went down
Mhm.
is really holding water.
We have too much in common.
It's really true. We're Empire kids, diplomats packs. I know infernal, you know celestial.
We have all the shared languages except Elven.
Yep.
Okay.
Zaz, out of curiosity, in Carrion and Teo's reading of this like book that's in Imperial,
Mhm.
what do we learn about the Empire? Like,
So, like I said, there were about 4 books in Imperial.
mhm,
3 of them actually appeared to be magical texts that just happened to be written in Imperial.
mhm,
But the 4th one does appear to be like a brief history of the Emporia kind of dealio, more
Okay.
just like a It almost, as you're reading through it, seems more like propaganda than it is actual unbiased history. Like
Well, it
even
is
to
an
your
empire.
even to your untrained eyes, or as
Mhm.
far as you're aware, untrained eyes.
Right.
But from what you gather, they started in the west, and they what's the name of that continent?
Hey.
So they actually started on the continent of Praloa, which is in the far west, kind of the northwest actually, and they existed as a country for a while, but they didn't really gain much notoriety until they became the Emporier after somehow coming out victorious in a three-way war between the other two primary countries of that continent and
Mhm.
absorbing both of those countries. And after that, they had a taste for blood.
Mhm. And
The rest, pretty much the entire western half of the world belongs to them right now.
the western half of the world.
Yeah, basically.
Mm.
There are a few
Um,
stragglers, but
and you
Kai,
said
this is your
actually
fault. You made me
what?
do this.
What was the name of the country? Plala?
the name of the continent was Praloa. The name of the country before it became the Emporier was Tibrand. Tibrand.
I I know, but you might need to spell both of those for me.
I already posted Tibrand,
Okay. And w-
and that's Praloa.
does it give us uh any information on what race kind of started it? Like what
Human.
race is okay, it's human. Cool.
The uh, the emperor is not named by name,
Mm,
since I know that's going to be your next question.
that's fair.
The Emporier has actually made it to the Estertoy Isles, which appears to be where you guys are, based off of GleiBellen's location.
Is there anything about the culture in terms of like, is it like a class system, or
It
mean-
appears to be. It's not. There's not an overt class system, but there definitely does appear to be, like, there are classes. There aren't castes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I'm trying to poke at is like, are undesirables a universal concept?
Oh yes,
Okay.
at least in the Emporier they are. You're not entirely certain if they're universal, but they definitely seem to be in both GleiBellen and the Empire.
Yeah.
And so it's just basic history like that, basic culture. Anything on the religion or nah?
They worship a singular sun god.
Huh. Interesting.
His name is Roshia.
And is that does it state if that's like an enforced religion? Like,
It is a highly enforced religion.
huh.
The Emporier also has a habit of stamping out their religions in lands that they take. They definitely enforce their religion. Everybody's had their turn but Iran. What's Iran doing?
What?
What's Iran doing?
I'm just doing homework. No.
I'm pretty sure that's Jesus.
Yeah, that's Jesus. No. Aran. I was going to go to the library, but then people celebrated at the library, so
You can
he's
also
just
go to the library.
checking for anything that calls his curiosity because that's what he's been doing.
All right.
So anything
Well,
curious.
like I said, the basement is off limits and locked. The first floor is the sitting room. The second floor is the library. Third is the guest rooms. Fourth is Altam's personal study slash lab slash there's a bed in there. It looks like it sees more use than any of the official bedrooms. And then there's a roof. You're allowed access to everything except for the basement. You're not really allowed to touch anything in the study. Neither is Q. If either of you try and touch anything, you get a very stern, please don't do that. Followed by a light zap if you don't follow her instruction the first time.
Let's test my intelligence and go to the study and see what I can see.
I would like to
Alright.
stress that I am literally following this woman everywhere.
She is pretty much staying in her study, except
Okay.
for like one trip to get food, which food is actually on the first floor. You just didn't see the. It's a
Ooh.
little cabinet. It's a little enchanted cabinet. Yeah, it's basically a little enchanted. Fuck, what's the name of that one sack that like bag of colding?
I have colding.
So she has this
Yeah, it's like a
refrigerator bag?
So it's a frigo bar.
basically. And
You
that's pretty much
welcome.
all the interaction you get from her the first day. The second day, however, crack of dawn, well, or
Back at
pretty
it.
much as soon as people are awake, she is going to attempt to get Q because Q is probably going to be easy to find.
Yeah, I would have been looking for her.
Yes, so she's going to get Q, and she's also going to get. Which one of you is she going to get? Yuffie. Teo! Fuck! Oh
Alright.
yeah, who's Q spending the night with?
Q would have literally followed Vanessa Altham until she threw her out of the room, instinctively stayed up to keep first watch, and then fallen asleep just wherever she could fit and was mostly comfortable.
All right, so Q is asleep in the hallway of the third floor.
Oh my god, we have.
That reminds me of this night where I fell asleep wedged between a couch and a door.
Altum brings you two up here and then looks at the two of you and threads her fingers together. So, first, I should ask, how do the two of you feel about blood being drawn?
No problems whatsoever.
I
That's
just
likely
shrug.
the only. You're not there. It's Q
Oh.
and it's Q and Teo right now.
I thought you said Carrion and Teo. My bad.
Nope.
My response to this is to just prick open my arm with the tip of my spear.
All right. After she frantically tries to collect that without exposing it to too much air and contaminating everything.
That's definitely going in the poor decision statistic I have for you.
And Teo complies.
If she's able to draw blood, she's more than welcome to.
All right. A needle does not work. A needle does not work. So, like it or not, she actually has to break out a dagger.
Fair.
But she manages to draw blood from both of you, and then basically does the magical equivalent of a checkup, casting, detect magic, and all that sort of stuff to try and figure out if you guys are like obviously cursed or anything.
I'm asking her questions about every step of this process.
She has already anticipated that and is explaining what she's doing. She casts the spell on Teo, looking you over, and
Weird fucking blood.
Okay, so you have some necromantic energy surrounding you, but nothing else. And Q, as far as I'm aware, you don't have any lingering magic of. So neither of you are probably being compelled, and you're not actively undead. You're just alive again.
Well, we were supposed to pay off some sort of debt. I remember that.
I'm sorry?
That may have been mentioned, yes.
Well, like when we were dead the first time, there was this voice that talked to us about how we had given everything, but then we had this debt, and that's why they were bringing us back. I remember as much of the exact monologue as I can. I personally cannot recall everything at this moment, but Q probably does.
Altham takes in that knowledge with all of the believability of a scholar who is hearing about mystical visions that happened when he woke up.
Yeah,
We
it's probably not
get
the
it.
strangest thing.
We had a religious experience. We're talking to a scientist. We get it.
I don't know about the voice thing, but physically, you guys seem perfectly healthy. So go find two other people, and she shoos you out of her.
I'm not gonna lie, the moment she said perfectly healthy, the eyebrow raised on Teo was probably something else.
I am writing that in quotation marks. We seem, comma, perfectly healthy.
Yup.
I mean, obviously, there's the whole asymmetric you should be dead thing, but other than that, you seem perfectly healthy.
You said you cut out, but you mentioned ASMR. The word
The
was
asymmetric,
the
yeah.
word the word was actually mentioned, unlike fucking grave robber who didn't say it.
As far as I can tell, you do suffer from the ASMR, how are you not dead thing, but other than that, you seem perfectly healthy. That's what she said.
Fair enough.
Now,
Let's
go,
go.
shoot, find more
Let's go.
studies.
Okay. Okay. Oui, madame.
Or I find a Ron.
I'll send up whoever I find next.
Alright, you send up Emberlissa.
All right.
So Emberlissa and Ron.
And I'm in the room too,
Yes.
because I want to see this
Oh,
again.
you don't leave?
I don't leave again.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Interesting.
Are there any questions you want to ask me? Are you two fine with having your blood drawn and having me cast some magic on you? Again, nothing painful or invasive.
Hmm.
Should be fine. I don't see any issue with it as long as it provides answers.
It's not painful.
I didn't hear what you said, Jesus. I'm sorry.
You said it is not painful.
It is not painful. I mean,
Mm,
you
It's a little
are having your
painful.
blood drawn.
It's a little painful.
okay,
I can hold your hand.
it's fine. I still hold her hand.
But oh Jesus.
Natural 20.
On
She
hand holding?
Yes.
she draws both of your blood, and as a ritual casts the spell again. And as she does, she looks at the two of you, and you two seem perfectly clear too. Healthy, not dead.
Is my blood normal?
I
mean,
can't
assuming that
study
I'm
your
an
blood
elf.
yet. That's going to take time, but
Assuming that I'm not an elf.
you're an elf.
Ish.
You appear
That's
to
a
be
lot
an
of time.
Eladrin, actually.
What is that?
An elf from the Feywild. Kind of.
What is that?
An elf descended from elves from the Feywild.
What is that?
The Feywild?
I assume that Aran doesn't know.
No.
The Feywild is fairyland. They would probably hate me calling it that.
So I am a fairy.
Well, you're an elf.
You're an elf that's connected to.
I'm half elf, half fairy.
Like
No,
15/16 elf, 1/16 fairy.
Feywild's just another piece within the world that overlaps with the one we interact in.
So like how the tieflings come from either hell or the abyss, and Aesmar come from the celestial planes. At least, that's where they're descended from. Mommy or
see.
daddy fucked an angel or a devil.
And my father fucked a fairy.
Probably not, but let's go with that for now.
Okay.
With the two of you pronounced physically fit, you are also sent out, and the last two people are brought in. Is Carrion accepting of having her blood drawn and magic cast on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to hold your hand too?
Yeah.
I'm actually staying back too. Because I want to know what's going on.
All right. You are also pronounced physically fit.
Not.
Hmm?
Said I'm also pronounced not dead.
You are also pronounced not dead. You do also, she does mention that you have some lingering necrotic energy on you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
But that is the studies done for the day. And she does let you know that she will probably have the blood test done in a couple weeks. You guys might want to start heading out before then though, nudge nudge wink wink.
A couple weeks? What type of second-rate fucking bioprocessing lab is she running here? Those
The
samples
kind where
are
it's done-
expired, lady.
The kind where it's done exclusively via magic. Ritual magic. She's not wasting spell slots on this. The fuck are you talking about? You think she cares about you guys that much?
She cares about us maybe less than actual lab rats. We might be upgraded to lab rat status when we bring her item back.
Yeah,
And after
probably.
throwing useful blood wise.
Hey, she offered to compensate you though.
Yeah. She's hoping a
more
couple of us
tests.
die so she doesn't have to pay out more.
I mean, fair.
I mean, I would
Isn't,
hope for that
isn't
too.
that what most quest givers secretly hope? I will say that. Do you guys have anything else in particular that you want to do for the rest of this day, or is this day also going to be a rest day? After all the studies are done, it's probably about noon.
I am still following Vanessa Altham everywhere, but just let me know when she goes to sleep.
All right, she's a human, so she sleeps this. Well, actually, she probably sleeps closer to 10 hours, just because who's gonna stop her?
Zaz, I'm gonna investigate the library again. This
Mhm.
time looking into this whole necromantic energy thing. Whatever the fuck that means.
So you're looking on books on necromancy.
Yeah, as as shifty as that really sounds to say out loud.
Investigation.
I Same, Kim. Hmm.
You do not find a single book on necromancy.
Fair enough. Then I'll just
You search for a while too.
use whatever time I have left to just skim books, just gather general knowledge of things.
Alright. you look around, most of these books do appear to be. You've essentially walked into a bunch of college textbooks as somebody who is not studying this particular thing in college.
Nightmares.
So there's a lot of very overwhelming books. Towards the end is where you start getting into the more like easy reading section, which is actually where you picked up that Imperial Brief History.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a couple lighter magical theory books over here. You see a couple more history books. You see a book on the religion of GleiBellen. You see a brief history of GleiBellen. You see exactly 3 romance novels in there somewhere. They appear to be the only fiction books in the entire library.
The Raylan in me wants to go for the romance books. But the Teo is gonna go for the general history of GleiBellen just since that's where the fuck we are. And he wants a general understanding of things.
Alright. So you start reading that.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything fancy they want to do?
Nope.
Nope. Then, as the second day of your rest comes to a close.
Wait, when she sleeps.
Oh, yeah, she's gonna probably go to sleep around like 8, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that area.
I'm gonna sit outside her door, and then I'm gonna put my ear to the door. Does she still sound ambulatory?
Probably for another about 15 minutes.
I'm gonna wait for that to stop, and then I'm gonna go to the basement and put my ear against that door.
Alright,
God.
make a perception check. Alright, and make a stealth check.
Ah, shit. Where the hell is stealth on this thing? There.
Are you wearing your armor?
Yeah, I would be. I wouldn't have
Alright.
thought to take it off.
It was already rolled at disadvantage. You knew. You knew.
So you walk up to the basement door and put your ear against it, and as you listen, you hear the quiet sounds of the tower settling. You hear one of your party members walking several floors above you, or perhaps even Dr. Altham. Somebody's walking around in the floors above you. And then you hear a strange, almost rattling, scraping sound against stone. Just intermittently. How long do you hold your ear to the door?
Just enough for that sound to happen like 2 or 3 times. Is it getting close to the door, or is it just like moving around somewhere behind it?
It appears to be moving around, but it also appears to it's not appearing in the same location, so it's definitely appearing like in different places in the basement.
I'm gonna go back up to the first floor. Is the front door open? Slash openable?
No, it's locked.
Oh, so I can't even get out the front door.
No, like she said, she was gonna lock you in.
Oh, I thought that she just meant out of like her I don't know, study or something.
No, she doesn't want you making off with all of her shit tonight.
I can't see if there's an entrance from the outside. Do I want to go back down or not?
Do you? Nobody else is here. Nobody else knows what you're doing, Q.
I'm going to go back down and is there a keyhole? Anything I can peep through on that door?
In the basement? No.
Yeah. Is it locked?
Yes.
Is it stone?
Yes. but
Alright,
the door, like it does have a door handle though.
I don't have an easy way through this though.
Hmm. Not unless you can pick locks or break locks.
I am just going to copy what got us into, well, what the first thing we did when we walked up to this tower and knock.
You knock.
I knock.
All right. You knock, and you hear this. You hear the scraping sound a lot louder, actually, and a lot more. The scraping sound happens repeatedly, and you realize that this is definitely the sound of something stepping as it gets louder. And then help.
I hear that, I take it.
Yeah, through the door. Heavily muffled, but
Help who?
me. Food. Magic.
Is there a space underneath the door or anything?
There's a very thin space, yeah.
Small enough for some old jerky?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and use up one of these old jerky rations.
Alright. Pretty much the second you get it like halfway under the door, it just immediately gets wrenched out of your grasp as whatever's on the other end of the door grabs it. The sound is not pleasant on the other side.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
You want more?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take, I don't know if this will fit, but I'm gonna take some of that meat I got off of the fish woman and also
You're
put
gonna
that
have to
under
like you're gonna have to like slice it as you go
Okay,
so
that's
that
fair.
it'll fit, but yeah.
But
You get a decent amount of food under there until you hear a muffled thanks, and the next piece of meat isn't snatched up.
is it just you?
Too.
Two. Did you wake up dead?
Mm, you don't really get a response other than that.
Can I try to take a peek underneath the door?
It is dark. It is pitch black under there.
If I shove a mushroom under there, are those still glowing even?
They would not be glowing.
No.
They would
damn.
not be glowing days after they were picked. They
Damn.
probably kept their glow for like probably even like 24 hours, but this far, nah.
Why aren't you dead? Right now. Everyone else is.
Jesus
That's
fuck,
the-
why would you say it like that? Oh my god.
God, we need to explain sleep to him. God.
Not dead.
Well, yeah.
You hear a sudden thud as something hits the door, and then a panicked Vanessa. Dead.
Well, I mean, she'll probably. I mean, she does this. She died at the same time last night, more or less, too. Do you know her? I mean, I guess that makes sense. You're in her basement. I won't ask you if you know me. How long have you been down here?
Honestly, from this point, you don't really get any responses other than Vanessa's name. And probably the odd repetition of the word dead.
Am I smart enough to tell that they're upset by this?
I mean, Perhaps. But I'll leave that up to you. What is Q's intelligence?
Intelligence
I
is
feel like this would be I feel like this would be more wisdom, whatever insight is.
my insight is +3.
Yeah, I'd say you could probably pick up on the general fact that this person is distressed based off the way that they keep repeating Vanessa's name and questioning if they're dead.
Well, it's the same as it always is, right? We die when it gets like we die a little bit and then we come back. Like I talked to her today. I'll probably talk to her tomorrow. Do you want me to tell her something?
He's out of it.
I'm going to try the door one more time.
It is still locked.
Is there any space for a key, or is this some type of non-obvious lock?
There is space for a key, yes.
Vanessa's study is also her room, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And that's the room where she took our blood?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go back upstairs just to the first floor and just fall asleep on a couch or something.
Alright. You fall asleep in her library sitting chair. And that is where we're going to end it for today. We'll start at dawn tomorrow.
We start at dawn. Beautiful. Q, you've screwed us.